Good morning, everybody. Good morning. Welcome to Coffee Moaning. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Welcome if you're listening on podcast. If you're not listening on podcast and you're watching, it's the end of my mug. They doth say not to drink from a cracketh mug. The germeth doth spreadeth. I don't know why I've gone like that. So this could collapse, but this is one of my favorite ever cups. And I wonder whether it kind of got a crack because it felt there was an incoming mug. Who knows? Morning, everyone. Carla Hatcham. I've just finished watching Hannah's video. Again, for those of you listening on podcast, we run a YouTube channel. This podcast, this live is part of a YouTube channel. And last night, we dropped a film about our friend, Nadia's friend, our friend Hannah, who's living with secondary breast cancer. And she went in for a wig fitting, a part of, I found it absolutely fascinating and a privilege to edit it, to be in there amongst so many inspiring women going through a process that one rarely sort of sees or you know, I've never seen sort of footage even necessarily, or thoughts. And there were so many sort of interesting thoughts about the highs, the lows, the feelings, the emotions around losing your hair or becoming hairless, and the process of finding a wig and what that means and everything else. It was, yeah, incredibly moving. So yeah, if you fancy that, what time stamp are we at? 1:42. I will make the link for it pop up there once this is uploaded, and you can click on it there. So what are we going to be talking about this morning? We're going to be talking about, yes, Gene Hackman has died. Gene Hackman, but in very curious sort of strange circumstances. Tragically, the Hollywood titan, double Oscar-winning actor Gene Hackman has been found dead. But what makes this so sort of odd is that he was found dead with his much younger wife, 61-year-old wife, and their dog in their home in Santa Fe. So we're going to be just talking about that. The potato heads, that's what we call them, the potato heads, who have been under house arrest and incarcerated in various different ways in Romania. They've taken a jet out of Romania and they're going to the US of A. God only knows what's going to be the next chapter in this god-awful narrative. I mean, you know, when you've got Pete Hegseth, is it? And I mean, what are they going to do with the potatoes? What are the two potato heads going to be doing in America? We know that Musk likes them. We know that Trump likes them. We know that they like Trump and they like Musk. So we've got that news too. And our dear Premier, rather sort of dry and slightly boring, but, you know, would you say steady? He's very unpopular, isn't he? I mean, regardless of whether we, you know, a lot of people rightly say, I think me too, we've kind of sparred on this. You know, it's not about personality. It's about policy. It's about change. It's about making the right changes for a country that needs to make sure we're changing with the times, and to make sure that when we meet with Trump, you can get away from me. I don't understand a word you're saying. I don't know what you're doing. And I don't even know what the word change means. They're meeting today. And don't forget, tonight, we're going to be doing two Brits chew over the Trump's America. So, you know, there's going to be a press conference, I believe, at 7 p.m. our time, local time, UK time. So by the time we get to you around 10 o'clock tonight, there may be a few more bits and bobs to chew over. But yes, you know, so we're going to talk about that. Starmer, he's got a big job. He's got a big job in his hand. He must be very nervous. Very, very nervous. Change. What is he going to change? Is he going to change anything? Can he change Trump's approach to anything? Does Trump's approach to anything need changing? Has Donald Trump inadvertently hit upon peace for everyone on the planet by just saying, yes, let everyone who's a bully have what they want? I mean, crikey, that's some kind of foreign policy, isn't it? So let's talk about Gene Hackman, shall we? Gene Hackman. For many younger film fans and lovers, they're probably thinking, who the hell's Gene Hackman? But Gene Hackman was a fantastic actor. Starred in films like The French Connection, The Conversation, He first starred in Bonnie and Clyde. This is him in the French Connection as Popeye Doyle. It is Me Too, and we'll get to that in a moment. It is the most important. He was possibly also most famously kind of crossed over to a mainstream. There's always mainstream. He played Lex Luthor in the original Superman, which is curious because we've had a couple of images thrown out this week regarding the new Lex Luthor, Nicholas Hoult. So I was thinking about Gene Hackman this week, actually, because he was fabulous, actually, as a sort of slightly camp comedic villain. This was one of the last images seen of him, I think, a couple of years ago, with his wife, and his wife, who's 63, I believe. I thought she was 61. Gene Hackman has been found dead at the age of 95, but his wife Betsy Arakawa and their dog have also been found dead at their Santa Fe home. So all three of them have been, including the dog, have been found dead at their home. The Santa Fe County Sheriff didn't provide a cause of death, nor did they say when the couple might have died. Local media have reported and the police have reported that no foul play is suspected. So this isn't a situation where, I don't know, they've been broken into and killed. This is obviously something that's, once, the emergency services got there, was explainable, which I think we can all begin to start to connect the dots here, perhaps. But it is odd. It is odd, and it's tragic. And if what I assume could have happened did happen, I mean, I see what you're saying, ZJQ. Could it be carbon monoxide? I suppose. I mean, it's always a bit grisly and not appropriate to kind of speculate in this manner. Yes, either there's been a sort of substance accident or a kind of leak or something like that. I hadn't thought that, carbon monoxide, or potentially more tragic still. I think tragic. Well, it's just tragic. Could it have been a shared suicide bid or attempt or something? But obviously, there's quite a sizable age difference between Gene Hackman and his wife. It's just this is just. I mean, you always expect the news to land when someone's as old as Gene Hackman. I mean, he's a sort of one of the old sort of Hollywood. He was never really a Hollywood idol. He was always quite sinewy and quite down to earth. Minky Moo loved him in The Birdcage. Here's some more images of him when he won his Oscars. He was also in The Royal Tenenbaums, which was that Wes Anderson film. He was very good in that too. Here he is again, I think as Popeye Doyle in The French Connection. This is him in Bonnie and Clyde. He was a very strong sort of, this is him winning his Oscar again here. It's just, he was just one of those he was kind of like, he wasn't a character actor. I don't know, there was just something about him that you always knew he was I'll tell you what he was in his day. He was a little bit equivalent, I'd say, in his day, to Matt Damon now. If he rocks up in a film, he's going to be good. And he's going to give you a kind of sinewy, gritty, sort of, meaningful performance, quite a genre. Gritty and funny. He could be funny. I mean, and his Lex Luthor was hysterical, absolutely hysterical. But he retired from filmmaking quite a few years ago. And he said, it's very sweet. He said, I prefer writing books. I mean, I don't know if he published many, but he preferred writing books. He said, the act of making movies, which is just, in films, it's such a collective process that your vision ends up not being the vision at all. It becomes so sort of diluted by so many people. So all the world's thoughts are with his family, and with his, just friends. And as I say, this was the last image of him. And this is Gene Hackman and his wife found dead. So I presume we're going to be given some more details on what exactly happened and in what sort of circumstances they were found. Now, the potato heads. If you're wondering who the potato heads are, everyone always says, why don't you just name them? Because we just don't want to say their names. Work it out. I'm going to show images of them so we can work it out. The Potato Brothers, Mr. and Mrs. Spudulike. There they are, potato heads. They're flying out of Romania. They're flying back to the US of A. These are the kind of social media gender influencers. They were very angry men. You know, they drive fast cars and they like to drive fast, and very sort of questionable and dubious kind of attitudes to women. I mean, I sort of suggested maybe on a Coffee Moaning, could they be up for, I don't know, gender equality secretaries or something within the Trump administration? Manosphere maniacs, Reese Roberts says. That's a lovely way of describing them. I think what worries me about this is it's not like they've just escaped from the country, and it's not like a flight was flown in or they were airlifted from Romania. Self-styled misogynist influencer Potato 1 and Potato 2 had been banned from leaving Romania since December 2023, and whilst they've left on a private jet because the travel ban was lifted, they will have to head back to Romania when charges are brought against them. But who thinks that's going to happen? Who wonders whether behind the scenes, Trumpety Trump. And I think Elon Musk at one point was suggesting they could run for, you know, they could set up a party in the UK. I mean, could we have a situation where reform and then we have the potato party? Yeah, but why would anyone or such go near the Potato Brothers? Vile. Yeah, I mean, I just don't understand the appeal. I don't understand, you know, I think a lot of people who talk about their appeals say, oh, well, they're quite underhand. They appeal with kind of material goods and live in the high life. They try and sort of enter debate with rational conversations and rational ideas at first. And then they find themselves in you know, controlling women and sex trafficking. I mean, these are all accusations at the moment. These are all accusations. But yeah, so these two guys. So of course they're going to be, for sure, they're going to be claiming this as a victory. They're going to be saying, see, you know, and I think they are going to probably be given protection. They had a mountain of evidence against them in Romania, said JK. You're absolutely right. I mean, they look like bullies, says the country pumpkin. Grace Ann Martin, many young men look up to these two. All of them together, Trump, Elon, and the potato heads, are as thick as thieves. Expect the shock factor. I think, yes, and I think that's really, I'm really pleased you say that, expect the shock factor. I think the reason this story is important is we ain't seen nothing yet. Let's not forget, we're only just over the crest of the 1 month hill of Donald Trump. He's only just had, as we'll be discussing tonight, his he does look like Tom Cruise in Tropic Thunder, Alison Barber. He's only just had his first cabinet meeting. Oh, Trumps. And so consequently, you know what? Be scared. Be very scared. Reese Roberts says a lot of directionless men who feel disenfranchised and the empowerment of women find themselves relating to them, since there's a large percentage of men nowadays, influence grows. Yeah, it's just like, you know, when we've talked a lot on here about, you know, what gives women the ick. I can really understand how feeling so profoundly unconfident about being a man in conjunction to women, that would give you the ick. Just calm down. I just feel like saying, calm down. Yep, the incels do gravitate to them. It's a worry. It's a worry. And I can't, you know, I mean, I wouldn't be at all surprised if in the next round of, you know, negotiations with Russia, we see the Tates sent in, the potatoes. We see two potato heads sent in to deal with the ultimate potato, which is Putin the potato. They certainly give the ick. I mean, I've seen footage of them really getting excited about their engines and their cars. I mean, does anyone here understand men into fast cars, big, you know, like someone drove past us the other day and they drove on, in fact, they were on a big bike. And it's one of those bikes that when you accelerate so hard, it does a loud bang that makes everyone feel like they're about to be shot. And they looked round like they'd done a great big turd behind themselves that was flying out at speed. But they turned around with pride. Someone please right now, even if you're a potato head fan, what's going through the man's head when he makes his exhaust pipe go bang? What is at that moment? And he goes, he went like this. He went, pom. He went, boom. What's going on in his head? What is going on in the head of the punk Carla Hatcham? Little Richard. Oh, I see what you mean. Little Dick Energy. Their followers are called Tater Tots. Are they? Taters. That's why we call them potato heads. Knobheads, says Gabrielle. Usually men with small willies, Rossa. I mean, they have to be compensating in some way, don't they? They think they are the bee's knees. Sandra Marshall, don't you just love the phrase, the bee's knees? When I hear that, when I see it written like you've written it just there, let's pop it up on the screen because it's so sweet. It just makes me think of bee's knees. And I just think of bee's knees being rubbed together. Like, and you go, oh. Apparently the bee population in the UK is the lowest it's ever been. Remember that because it'll probably come up in the Friday quiz. Stuart G, my brother bought me a go in a fast car. I hated every second of it. You much prefer your cement truck, don't you? South Park did a great episode on motorcycle riders. Oh, really? Oh, I must check it out. It's a look at me mindset, says Reese Roberts. I think ingrained in men is the need to impress. And so doing those sorts of things, they think it garners the attraction of women and jealousy of other men. I mean, see, the only time I can sort of remember having something vaguely feeling something, when I was younger, I always remember thinking, oh, I can't wait until I'm a bit older when I play sport, I'll have a girlfriend who wants to watch me play sport. Two major headaches or problems with this. I was all right at sport, but I wasn't fucking brilliant at sport. It would have been as boring as watching toffee lick a bottom, watching me do sport. But equally, they weren't interested, so it never happened. But that was the only time I could sort of think, I want to run around the field. Maybe I'd wear a pair of tighter shorts. So I was young. I was like, yeah, check out my thighs. And I always had big thighs. They're always kind of too big for my shorts, which looks stupid in and of itself, really. But is it really that? Is there not a shred of doubt, Reese? I'm not saying you're an expert on this, but is there not a shred of doubt within the male psyche that when your exhaust goes bang and you turn around proudly like you've done the biggest shit all over the road, isn't there a part of you that thinks, God, everyone's going to think I'm a total twanger? Victoria Moore, I like it. I like that. That deserves a pop-up on the screen, that one, Victoria Moore. A pair of pick-me potatoes. Very good. I like that a lot. Laura Lou, on the flip side to that, I remember being so excited to see a boyfriend play football, but it was so boring. It really is. I mean, look, watching a football match between great big titans like Tottenham and anyone else is boring. I mean, I have to say watching football generally is boring unless you're watching it on telly, because then you can go and go to the loo, you can have conversations, it's so much, you're warm. Watching football with friends or, colleagues because you're not watching anything brilliant. You're watching a lot of blokes just plop around. Penny, Rachel Thomas, dating apps are full of men. Oh God, Rachel, no, please. Holding fish. So, Rachel, on behalf of all the men you've seen on dating apps, I apologize with all my trout. Dating apps are full of men holding fish and posing in front of motorbikes. Maybe I should do a calendar. I know we talk about doing these calendars, but we're going to be. Why don't we do a calendar? It feels like a desperate need to demonstrate masculinity. Same with fast cars, etc. Oh God, it's so Ixville. Oh, it's so childish. I mean, if I was to say that to Potato Head, would he? If I said, "Look, mate, come on, you're confident enough not to bang on about it and have fast cars with exhausts that plop everywhere. You don't need to do that." Would he hit me? Would that be his idea of kind of connection? Would he be like, yeah, "Come here"? Would he headbutt me? He's got the head for headbutting. Oh, I've also noticed that crack can tear your nose off. I mean, look at this head. He's got a real. Although it doesn't look like it's headbutted many, the guy behind him looks slightly sinister. That's the other potato. Anyway, yeah. Oh, look at the size of that thumb. Oh, he's so angry, so easily threatened. Oh, this is like an album cover, that, isn't it? Anyway, they think they're superior to everyone they do, Michu. But let's talk about Starmer's crucial day. And I think, Michu, you summed it up beautifully earlier. This is a defining moment in the Keir Starmer premiership. I don't think he's garlanded himself in wonder in his first, how long has he been in? And I don't think he's wanted to. He's clearly not wanted to be a prime minister of personality. He's wanted to be a man. Judge me on my actions, on the change that we do. Judge me on that. Judge me on nothing else. He's not. But, and it is a big but, and I'd love to know what you think about this, Michu. In a world which is now populated with an extraordinarily high number of huge personalities smashing the shop up, so to speak, smashing up the world stage, I wonder whether the type of leader Starmer is, and look, I'm in all of this, I'm putting to the side all of our concerns around the way they've dealt with the genocide in Gaza. With that exception, is it the right time to have a dutiful, head down, slightly sort of grey, bureaucratic, judge me on my policies, judge me on change, rather than judge me on personality? Is that who we need? Is that what we need? Has the world? I mean, I know it ideally should be, and I know ideally we want it to be, but leader, says Helen B. So wet lettuce comes to mind, says Ross Ouch. So here's a photo of old Keir. Look, there he is. Rabbit caught in headlights. Deer caught in headlights. He was gripping his paperwork the other day with a sort of grim expectation of end of days. He's like, we are hoping to change everything for the better. We can change things from bad things to good things. I worry, and here's my thing. Is my thing? Where? I worry that Macron, yes, with all of his French charm and his handwork and all his hand-jiggery pokery, I worry Macron has made the bar very high for Starmer to jump. I worry Starmer's going to be arriving in, the good old US of A, and people are going to be like, good God, he's boring. Unless, of course, all the Americans in Trump's government do that thing that a lot of Americans do, which is they go, oh my God, I love your accent. But I don't know why. I somehow doubt it. Victoria Moore says it as it is. I bet his ass is twitching like a Madden. I think he will be twitching. Absolutely. If he's not, I mean, it's a little bit like, we often say to the girls, sometimes it's good that you worry because it means that you care. Then that's what I'd be saying to Keir. Of course, it's good that you worry. It shows that you care, and I think he cares. He doesn't care about the Palestinians in the same way that he does about the Israelis, but I think he cares. It does sound like bungle. Welcome to the British company. British. Welcome. I hate to say it, but defence spending on war footing will create jobs and boost industry. Me Too. Oh God, but Me Too, man. Yes, it will. But we're in a world now that's just gearing up to telling everyone, let's just make more weaponry. So what, are we all going to now sign up to becoming conscripted? Are we all going to, I mean, I think, to quote Lee Pitt, I think everyone in terms of the population is tired. They've had enough. They've had enough of all these jack rabbit idiots all jumping around, kind of pretending they're the big I am with their bald pates and their stupidity. Trump is not going to listen to a single word he says. Of course he isn't. I mean, Trump's going to make I just don't think Keir Starmer has the magical hand trickery of Macron. I'm trying to think I suppose what he could do, if you go back to the image of him, he could do that thing that the snake in Jungle Book does. He could mesmerize him with his eyes. He could just stare into Trump's eyes for so long that Trump's hair flies off his head or something. Here's another photo here of him here. Got Keir Starmer speaks during a welcome reception at the UK ambassador's residence. Off with his head. I mean, I don't know. And there he is, Peter Mandelson, saying, "Don't worry, Keir, it's going to be a complete clusterfuck." And Keir Starmer's just concentrating on clenching those buttocks at that point. He does just feel like a wet fish. So it's going to be interesting. On a more serious note, obviously Starmer's going to be going in saying, "We are willing to put troops on the ground in Ukraine to maintain any kind of peace." Trump has already made it clear he wants none of it. "I don't care. Sort out whatever you want." Trump's even said, Putin said, "We can have peacekeepers." And Putin said, "No, I haven't." Donald Trump's got to, he said, "I don't care. Just do what you need to do. Just do what you need to do." And really, he's probably going to leave it up to Keir. Squeaky bum time, really is, isn't it? Trump is now taking a more realistic stance on Russia. He's not confident now that there could be peace. So Trump has been talked around already by Macron. Do you think, Mitri, that suggests a real kind of rational mind? Starmer's biggest viral moment will likely be some reporter asking, will he tell Trump to extradite the Tate so they can face charges they have against them in the US? Imagine if Trump says no. Yeah, that's a good question. It's a killer question that they could ask. He will be totally dominated by Trump. No charismatic ability. He might crack a joke about Arsenal and football. Might fall on deaf ears, I think. I don't really know what Starmer has got to pull out the bag, if I'm honest. I mean, I literally don't know. I don't know. I think even his bag is boring. So let's fingers crossed. Maybe just, maybe death by 1,000 cuts. Maybe just the chipping away of Trump's kind of lunacy by various kind of European leaders is what's needed, Mitri. Maybe it could work. But Russia were very clear yesterday. They were like, "No, I don't know why Trump said that. We're not happy with any peacekeeping forces there." So we've got a bit of a small World War III situation brewing over there. Really. So anyway, as I say, we're going to be back tonight discussing Trump, etc., etc. What else did I have just on the back burner? No, that's it. That's your lot. Okay. I don't think he's got a bag. I think he's got a briefcase. Anyway, guys, have a lovely day, and we'll see you tonight. Something else will be landing. Well, something else will be landing later. It'll be our live, our Trump's America Live tonight. We'll be discussing everything, a bit more Musk madness and all the rest of it. Have a lovely